listen. Hello, thank you, and welcome back to the Franchise Canada Chat. We have a very special episode for you today, as this is our first live episode here at the Canadian Franchise Show here in Toronto. Today's guest is Sohail Iqbal. Sohail, who is a multi-unit franchisee with the UPS store. He actually owns 6 locations and a variety of different location types, which I think is really interesting. So we're looking forward to talking about that today. Sohail, I'm really also looking forward to hearing about your experience as a UPS franchise owner, and just wanted to say welcome to Franchise Canada Chat. And we have a lot of questions for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm very eager to answer any of the questions that you have, and I'm very happy that I'm here. So yeah, it's a good thing for me.
Excellent. Well, I have a huge list here, so let's dive in.
Okay.
Just want to learn more about your background and experience. You shared a little bit of detail with me on the floor today, but I think it's a really interesting journey how you started out professionally, and then what led you to UPS store.
So Renee, I was the way it started was I have always been into like a business, and I wanted to do something on my own. I started off very early. I was actually a high school drop-off originally. I started working at a computer shop, and then I opened up one of my first computer stores back in 1998. What I think I needed more information. I needed to understand how the people actually run the business, and I didn't know how to work in how to expand the business. So I went back to school, I went to college, I went to university, then I worked in the IT industry for almost 17 years.
Wow.
And during my time in IT and working in the corporate world, I understood that how people have visions, how you follow your vision, how you understand the visions, and how you can follow through and work with different people to work with you that can support your vision, and you can support them at the same time. So after 17 years, I thought that, you know what, I think it's enough time that I should go back and look into something more and start my own business.
Okay.
And while I was doing that, I was mostly interested in the food industry. And as you knew about UPS, I was just looking around and trying to see who else is doing what. And I looked at some of my friends. They had very successful franchise businesses. And one of my friends, he had a UPS franchise, and I talked to him that, okay, you have been in this business for some time. Tell me about this UPS business.
Right.
And that really changed my focus from going into food industry to working into the UPS franchise. So it was aligning with my vision. And when I did my self-assessment, I looked at my strengths and weaknesses, and I thought, you know what, I think UPS franchise might be the thing for me. So I just dived in and looked into it, and that's how I started from one, and now I have, I think, close to about 6 locations. Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing your story. I think it's really inspiring. I think a lot of people believe that they need to have a formal education background or university background before they can even think about running a business. So I love what you highlighted, Sohail, with that model of franchising, that regardless of your background or your experience, you're adopting a proven system. So with that proven system, you're able to learn and grow and hone your skills and become a successful multi-owner franchisee as well as a franchise system.
Exactly.
Which is exciting. So tell me about these 6 locations you have. What was your journey? Did you want to always be a multi-unit franchise owner, or did you start out with one, or how did you come to 6 locations? And tell us more about those locations.
Oh, good question, Renee. See, initially, when I talked about I had my first business, I did have multi locations even then. Even though I was just young and I was still learning about the businesses, I had 2 different businesses. So I always wanted to have more than one location, and I wanted to understand what is the proven model which is available to me that I can use to enhance myself in this bit. Back in, I think that was 2022 when I opened my first location in Burlington.
Okay.
I've
actually been a customer of that location.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yes,
Oh,
I didn't
you.
know you had the Burlington store. So.
Oh, thank you so much.
Service.
So thank you so much. We have now 3 Burlington locations.
Fantastic.
We open up first Burlington and I was still working in the IT industry at that time. So again, I think it comes down to um, your awareness that what are your strengths or weaknesses. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm not going to jump right away and commit myself fully. Let me understand this model. Let me understand how I can work with this model with UPS with multi-profit centers.
Mhm.
So um, when I opened my first location, I was still learning it. And during that time, I understood that, okay, I can be at one location or I can be at multiple locations. All I need are good, trusted, working people.
Right.
And I think those are our strength. When you have good people and if they're able to work with your vision and you're able to work with them. But again, I'm going to tell you that it's not a one-way street. Sometimes, I have my own vision. I might want to do something, but at the same time, I have these people. Sometimes they're students, sometimes they are just out of university. They have their own vision. They want to do something. So sometimes I tell them, you know what? I could be your stepping stone. I will help you to grow, and you help me grow as well. And when I had these good people, that's when I understood, okay, that now I can grow. If I can replicate myself from one store to another store to another store, that's the way I can grow myself.
Okay.
When I was working in the IT industry, I was a shared resource. I was working with multiple teams, working with different projects. Um, that helped me understood that how I can go to different teams, help them to complete their projects, and how to negate all these small issues and how I can automate most of these issues. So once I learned the same process, I took the same process, applied at UPS, and then from there to another one, to another one. Just try to take out all these things and try to automate as much as possible. And that's why I did it.
Excellent. Well, you make it sound very easy.
Well, it's there's a lot of exercises in between, yes.
Fantastic. Well, in terms, you mentioned a little bit about your IT and your technology background. So definitely very curious to hear about the technology that the UPS store uses, your locations and the brand as a whole, and then how are you leveraging technology to be more impactful into what you do on a day-to-day basis?
UPS has very good platform. They have portals that the franchises can go into,
Okay.
and we can select um, a lot of the options that are available for marketing, for branding. Then we have the CRM, the POS solution, which we utilize a lot to send out emails, to talk to clients and give them promotions. Then we have all these um, other digital marketing media like Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and Google. And again, I have to say that the reason I went to UPS was because they have a very solid foundation for marketing. And we don't have to, create something brand new. The marketing people in UPS, they are strong enough to produce very, um, you can say, an advertisement that's very connected to people, you know. So all we have to do is that utilize which is available on the portal and put that on different platforms to let the people know what awareness about the UPS that what we are promoting at that time. So um, again, UPS has a very strong digital presence. At the same time, they have very good tools that we can utilize to enhance our marketing.
Amazing. Well, I can only imagine with the way that technology is advancing right now and so quickly.
Always.
You know, obviously that is one of your passions, how you begin. So it's keeping up with the times and being, a great franchisee also and supporting your staff and keeping that line of communication open because the UPS stores have grown so significantly. And I think in terms of the number of locations and the support that they give to people like yourself to become multi-unit franchisees, it's just a testament to the brand itself. When we think about you personally, in terms of becoming a franchisee and how you've grown, I would love to hear some of the positives about being a franchisee with the UPS store. What have the benefits have been to yourself personally, your lifestyle, and then maybe one or two challenges that you've had as well, or some lessons learned as a franchisee.
Good question. Yes. It's not easy. I think running a business is a full-time commitment. Um, while working in IT, doing 9 to 5 job or sometimes not 9 to 5, sometimes even more longer hours because again, we are working with different teams. So sometimes early in the morning, sometimes late at night, we're still trying to, finish the project. I think um, that working experience helped me work with UPS as well. Again, it's yeah, we can open from 9, we close at 6:30, but that's not always the case. Sometimes we're working late. We are also doing some jobs we have, like for example, printing jobs, or we have to complete some binding job that we have completed recently, and now the customer needs more of them. Um, or we just have some job for graphic designing. So there were challenges when I took over the store. It was new for me. We do get training from UPS, from university, which is very good. But I think you do learn a lot of things while you're on the business. Well, when you're working, you understand, okay, I can understand, like UPS cannot teach everything. You will get challenges. You will be challenged because sometimes you will have a job that you have never done before. And I think that's one of the initial, how should I say, what kind of like a shock to me that, okay, I have to absorb it. I have to understand all of this. I have to learn all of this. Um, and then I have to teach all of these things to my employees as well. So while I'm learning, I'm teaching at the same time, I'm learning the new things. I think that was one of the challenges for me. But I don't think nothing is easy. I think everything comes with a challenge, right?
Right.
So um, I think that was one of the big things for me. But other than that, um, I think once you learn the process, it's all about how you can replicate this process to the second level, how you can improve this process to the next level. I think what we need to understand is that you cannot be at one place all the time, right? If you are at one location, that means you're an employee of the location. If you want to become an entrepreneur, meaning that you have to have people you can trust.
That's right.
You have to give people the authority to take challenges, to make a decision. And as long as it's not hurting the business, you give them that right that, you know what, don't worry, I'm behind you. If you make a mistake, it's okay. I will help you figure it out. And I think that really helps the employees. They think that, we have somebody's backing us. So I think that was one of the really um, the helping point for me and for them, for me to grow and for them to grow.
Amazing. I love that you support your team so well, and obviously that's led to your success. Um, there's a lot of people that are here on the floor today that are talking to different franchisors, exploring options. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was how, in terms of what people are looking for, how do people, based on your experience of looking for the right franchise, what are the some of the things that they should be looking for in terms of the franchise structure as a whole, and then what kinds of questions should they be asking those franchisors?
Very good. Um, you know, we're coming to an age that, when I was in IT industry, we're like, okay, you know what? I need to do something. I have to supplement my income. A lot of my friends, they're about my age or a little bit older than me, um, mostly coming from IT background. And we're all seeing these challenges, all these new challenges, new applications, new software coming up all the time in the market. And they come and ask me sometimes that, what shall we do? We need to supplement this thing. Yeah, we are learning the new tools right now. We're 50, 55, 60, 65. What's going to happen by that time? When I'm 55 and 60, what can I do in the next 5 years to supplement myself? You know? So I always tell them, do a self-assessment. Understand what you want to do. Understand your weaknesses. Understand your strengths. Have a vision. Look at the market. Look what you want to do. What is aligning with you? When you are looking at a franchisee or franchisor, you you go and ask them. You ask them all these questions that, okay, this is what I want to do. How can you help? and how can you can help them. It's not, I think it's not one way, it's both ways. So you have to understand what the franchisor is offering you. And is it aligning with your assessment, with your vision, with your financial goals? And then make a sound decision. Don't jump in on anything. I believe if people are failing, that means they're jumping too soon into something without understanding all the repercussions of what could happen to their financial gains or financial losses. So I would suggest go and talk to franchisors, see what their plans are. If you can, go to franchisee, look at the locations, look at the financial goals, look at how it is aligning. How can you help them, and how can you help yourself? How can you grow, and they will grow with you? Because it's again, I said it's not one way. Like they can help you as much as they can, but again, it's up to me as a franchisee. How can I grow myself? And do I have that aptitude? Do I have that get go personality?
Right.
So all of that means everything. So don't discount anything. I would suggest that do your homework. Don't jump into. Don't rush anything. Take your time. Location, franchisor, all of it makes sense.
Excellent. Well, that's really great advice. So thank you for sharing that. And I think it is important to talk about the behind the scenes, right? Some of the things that you went through, the questions that you asked, and even I love that you mentioned that your friends are looking to you now as a potential mentor that are asking you questions as well. So being able to give them that sound advice, which I think is amazing and really lead them down the right path. And obviously coming to a show like we're at today is one of those great solutions to get a lot of really great franchise executives in a room, have great conversations, and see where that goes. So thank you. One of the things that I wanted to learn about a little bit more is in terms of research. I know that there's a lot of information on the internet, and there's a lot of bad, good, and everything in between. So what are some of the ways that you would recommend for people to do their research on a franchise opportunity, and where should they go to find information if they're looking at or honing on a specific franchise opportunity?
I think the best thing would be to actually, if they can, talk to the franchisees who are already having a location, get their feedback. Talk to the franchisor for sure. Again, as you said, there's good, bad, and everything in between on the internet.
Right.
But there are some good information online as well. So look at online, look at what people are saying. Look at what I would suggest. Sometimes Google reviews are a very good option. Like to see what people are saying, and a lot of people are saying something that there must be something in there. Talking to franchisor, talking to their team, go to their office, look at their plans, look at their financials, looking at their financials too. It's not only your financials, look at their financials too, how strong they are. Look at the brand, look at the presence, and then be aware of your surrounding. Look at your location you're going into, see if it makes sense. And I think a franchisor will also be looking into what the locations where you want to open up something. But I would suggest talk to franchisees as well if they can, and get their feedback, because they are already doing it, maybe for 4 years, maybe 5 years, 10 years, whatever the time may be, but they are running the business. You might get an honest opinion out of them.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, I think too that's a great point, because I think it is a red flag. So we talk a lot about the red flags in franchising. And one of the red flags is if you're not able to talk to a franchisee, or you're trying to validate, and in the process they're not returning your phone call, and you've called them multiple times. Yeah. And not that it's always a red flag, but definitely it would be a point of concern if that's happening multiple times. And so I think it's a great point to be able to connect with the franchisees if that's part of the process and you're able to, or if you have friends in your network who are franchisees of that particular brand, that you can say, hey, how are they as a franchisor? How are they supporting you? Are you feeling that you are supported?
That's it.
How are you doing with profitability?
I think it all comes down to the profitability. Working with people, giving good customer service, working with the franchisor, working with your employees, And having a good communication with the customer, I think it goes a long way.
I wanted to actually touch on that. So I'm happy that you mentioned customer service. So I personally had an experience with UPS Store, which was absolutely phenomenal. So I did want to share that with you. I was actually doing an event out in the West Coast. We were doing a franchise show. And throughout that franchise show, we realized that part of our booth was missing. And it was a very important part.
Oh,
Obviously, it was the banner and the signage that we needed. And usually, as you know, because you run a UPS store, that it takes some time to line things up properly and get that printed. And the franchise owner of the UPS store came to our rescue, opened up the location early,
oh,
and had a banner printed for us in 4 hours.
oh my God.
And
That's good.
hand delivered it, even delivered it to the show floor. And so I was really impressed with the level of service. We were obviously trying to figure out what to do. We were already very panicked as it was, not having the appropriate signage because it was delayed on the plane. And they came to our rescue. So I wanted to thank the UPS store for that level of
I'm
service.
so happy. Yeah.
And I'm just one customer, but definitely a loyal customer now, and would love to hear some of the customer service philosophy that UPS stores have taught you.
Um, you know, we have the same mentality for, customer service that, the customer comes first. We try to help them as much as we can. As you said, the booth, and then you had to have the feather flag printed. And we had these situations many times. We had customers came in and they need something urgently done tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. How can we help them? So yeah, this is our motto, and I think we abide by it. And UPS also tells us to do the same thing for all the locations. And I think it just speaks like for itself. When we talk about Google reviews, we talk about customer services. If the customer is coming to you, it's because it's not that they cannot get the same service somewhere else. It's something you are providing extra that they're coming for. We have customers, they come from different cities. Like we have location in Burlington, people coming in from Waterdown, people coming in from Oakville. Even though we have location in Oakville, it's that one-to-one connection that they build over time. And that's what we always tell to all of our employees, and we tell everybody that, what, try your best. Do whatever you can best for the customer. Sometimes the customers comes in and they're very um, in a panic mode. They lost something. What we can do is that to calm them down and help them to understand how we can help them to figure out where the package is, or to make a shipment for them. And we get these shipments sometimes that they're very, very urgent and they have to be delivered. They have to be delivered with care, sometimes paintings, sometimes an urgent document. So we always try to tell the customer and explain to them what the process is, and explain to them how we can do it this way so it will reach on time and uh, you know not broken. Hopefully, everything should be perfectly fine. Uh, that one thing that UPS offers is like pack and ship guarantee. So we have like expert packers, so we make sure that the packing is done properly.
Awesome. I love it. A couple more questions. I know, how are we doing for time? Not bad. We're
Good.
doing good. Okay. So wanted to hear advice. Obviously, you've been a franchisee for how many years now? You actually
It's
didn't.
been 3 years now, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a very a funny story actually. When I got my first location, uh, the franchisee director, I asked him that, like I want to get into the Walmart locations,
Okay.
and he was like, "Well, you have been in the system for only like 6 months. Unfortunately, I cannot give you anything right now." So he declined my application. So I said, "Okay, no problem. I'm gonna show you that how we can take this store from here to here." And then within few months, our sales growth were, by the time we bought it, the growth went up and up and up. And then he realized that, okay, he has a good team. Maybe we can offer him something more. So we got a second one, then the third one, then the fourth and fifth and sixth. So we just kept on opening. It's just because It's not because, we were doing something special. It's just that we were trying to be nice to all the customer, provide good customer service, and the sales just kept on coming.
Excellent. Well, I mean, being a franchisee for 3 years now,
Yes.
What advice would you give to somebody that is looking to buy a franchise and they're on the floor today? And what kind of advice have you given in the past for those? Besides, I know you mentioned a little bit about asking the questions, talking to franchisees, but is there any kind of final words of wisdom that you would have?
Look at your financial goals.
Okay.
See what you are planning to do in the short term. Have your short-term plans, have your long-term plans. Have a vision. Very important. Understand your strengths and weaknesses, and see what aligns with you. Don't jump in just because you see an opportunity that maybe I'm getting this phenomenal deal. I want to buy this location.
Right.
Just because it's a deal doesn't mean it's for you. It doesn't mean it's going to work out for you. If I haven't done my self-assessment, I might have jumped in a while ago into maybe a food business, but I might have been successful, may not have been. I don't know. But I know that what my strengths were, that I have been in IT, and I know that I can do 9 to 6:30, and I know that I have these financial goals. I knew what I was going into, and I think you have to be 100% truthful to yourself. You have to understand where do you stand, what you want to do in the short term and the long term. So if you have these plans, if you have these business plans, I think you will be successful. Don't jump in. Don't jump in just because you see something and it's very flashy.
I love
No, flashy is not good all the time. Maybe for someone. If it is for you and it aligns with you, aligns with your goals, fine. Go for it. Take your time.
Take your time. I like that. Well, I mean, it's excellent advice that you're giving. And Sohail, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today to ask these questions and especially for you to share your experience. So thank you so much. That's a wrap for this episode of our latest our first ever live event. This episode of Franchise Canada Chat is hosted by me, Anjali Brown, and it's produced by Daniel McIntosh of the Canadian Franchise Association. And to hear more episodes and also to get more franchise resources, please don't hesitate to go to the franchisecanada.com online. So go visit franchisecanada.com and be able to go and check out all of the information, the amazing opportunities if you are looking to become a franchisee. Also, last but not least, customer service. I know we touched about that today. If you haven't already left a 5-star review, or we do, of course, appreciate your support. So we'd love to have you listen to the podcast, give that 5-star review, and also your feedback and subscription does help offer valuable resources and also help us discover the show and allow us to also deliver that valuable content like we have today. So thank you, Sohail.
Thank
you to the Canadian Franchise Association
Thank
for
you.
allowing me to be here today. And that's a wrap.